Well, hello everyone, Texie88 here, and welcome to another review. And now I'm taking a look at the 1993 Super Nintendo game Starwing, which came out in 1993 and was the first Super Nintendo release to have a Super FX chip installed in the original cartridge to help it cope with the 3D polygons like you're seeing here. Because without them, this would have just been a slow, juddery, quivering wreck. Now you might be wondering, why is it called Starwing when it's better known as StarFox? Well, the reason for that is that here in the UK and throughout Europe, when it first came out in 1993, there was a problem with a clash between the name StarFox, which is its original title, and a German company which was pronounced StarFox but spelt STARVOX, and presumably a fear of legal action led to a name change. And in PAL regions, not such as Europe, StarFox was originally known as Starwing, hence what you're seeing as the title here. Although it did later revert back to StarFox when it was included on the SNES Mini when that console came out a few years ago. So let's get this game going and see how it. Now you've got 4 different control selections that you can pick, and it tells you in the bottom right how it all works. I personally prefer control method A, which is the default, and you can actually test it in the top left corner. I'm actually doing that with the D-pad, but training gives you a chance to further familiarise yourself with the controls, or just a simple flight along something and flying through things. But I'm happy to just go straight into the game. And you got 3 different difficulty levels. This path that's currently highlighted, the middle one, is the easiest one. This one, I believe, is the second toughest, and this one, I believe, is the toughest of the 3. But I'll just stick with the base one for this. Now, it's worth pointing out that even though they start and end at Corneria and Venom respectively, that doesn't mean that you'll be playing the same level. It'll depend on which difficulty you selected, how the level will actually look. Nice clear speech samples there. Now there's a mixture of wireframe and texture texture mapping, simple texture mapping, and solid 3D polygons here. You've got to remember this was 1993, and back in those days, seeing polygons on consoles was pretty rare. And here's my R-Wing fighter. And as well as being able to shoot, you can also speed up like that. So there is a reason that I'm going through these arches, because if you go through all of them, you get this power up with twin blasters. So for anyone who didn't see this game back in the day, they're probably laughing their heads off at these rather simplistic polygons. But that was about as much as computers and consoles at the time could really handle without being seriously beefed up. And SNES games were expensive enough as it is. That was a smart bomb, but unfortunately I didn't manage to get it in time. You can also use the L and R shoulder buttons to turn yourself like that, and double tapping one will allow you to do a barrel roll like that. And there's a smart bomb there. Got that. it can be quite tricky to get that particular one without crashing into the side, because even though the 3D is very impressive, it is a little bit tricky at times still to tell exactly where your ship is in relation to other things. This bit here is a restart checkpoint, so if you go through that, you won't go right back to the beginning of the stage if you lose a life. No, it's only one that doesn't revolve. The one that does revolve does something which you saw moments earlier, does something completely different. And you can slow down with the B button like that as well. This is the first boss. No, smart bombs are listed in the bottom right corner, as is your shield power. So if you take hits from things, then you'll quite understandably take damage. You can shoot the missiles as they come in, but the regular blaster shots you just have to avoid. You can't shoot these. You just have to. See, I took a hit there. So I've just laid a smart bomb. Right, that's that. And then that's then Fox McCloud calls in his peeps, Peppy Hare, Slippy Toad, and Falco the Falcon. You get a bonus life every 10,000 points, I believe. Asteroid belt. You notice there's a black hole on that map. The entrance to it is hidden within this asteroid belt. I'm not going to spoil it for people who might want to play this and find it out for themselves. So I'm just going to play this bit regularly. And in these space sections, you can actually switch between an inner and outer view while you're just generally going through space. Obviously, this does make it a lot easier to hit things. You've got a better idea of where your blasters are going to hit. Considering that shaded and solid 3D polygons, moving like this was still in its infancy. Everything moves really slickly. You do get the occasional moments where the frame rate drops, but just imagine what it would have been like without the Super FX chip. And you can also, those triangles on the left and right there shows how your wings are orientated. Those yellow rings, if you collect them, will give you a bit of a top up of your shields if you need it. You can only shoot the gold asteroids in this. The regular coloured ones are solid, and you can't shoot them or destroy them. Another smart bomb on the way there. Occasionally get your teammates saying things. Sometimes they'll complain if you steal something that was theirs, and sometimes they'll call you. They'll ask for your help if they've got someone on their 6. Nice music here as well. In fact, the whole music score has a very orchestral feel to it. Right, that's the checkpoint of this stage. Get lost, you fiend, so Peppy's in trouble. Not anymore. Yeah, be careful about one of the annoying things is that sometimes your teammates can get in your way and get in the way when you're trying to shoot things. That can be a bit of an irritation. Now I got the boss. Nice sound effects as well. I'm going to tip myself on my side there because otherwise that thing would probably crash straight into me. It is possible to damage your wings in this, in which case you'll revert back to regular single blaster, and if you picked up something that would normally have given you twin blasters, it will repair your wing and you'll be able to go back to eventually being able to power up to twin blasters if you manage to find a suitable power up. Yeah, this was actually Nintendo's first game to use polygonal graphics. And for its time, it's pretty impressive. I mean, obviously, 3D graphics have come on leaps and bounds in the years since this first came out. But even so, this still plays really well, and the sound and music is still really good. So regardless of what you may think of the visuals looking dated, you can't really complain about the way it plays or the way it sounds. Especially for a console of this time. Coming out of hyperspace. What I'll probably do is do this stage and then wind up the review and give my final verdict. I don't want to spoil it for absolutely everyone. I've powered up my twin blasters. That's the maximum kind of twin blasters you can get. And pressing select allows you to go between into and out of the screen. Picked up another life there. You had to shoot in between that 3 times. Yeah, so you have to be a bit careful. You have to be a bit careful about missiles in this. Those yellow rings, as I said, top up your shield if you need it. Nice explosion effects in this game as well. I love the music in this section. This is automatically going into this mode, and you'll need to use judgment of being able to speed up and slow down. Shoulder buttons to tip my ship on my R-wing on its side like that. This is a shield. While your ship's wireframe, you can take a few hits before it wears off, and it'll even carry across to the later levels. In fact, you can keep it to the end of the game if you're lucky enough to be able to not take any substantial number of hits in the process. And as you can see, the HUD is flashing to show whether I've still got the shields. That's the checkpoint marker again. Oh, I took a hit there. But it's not enough to finish my shield, so that's fine. Oh, I took another hit then. Oh, darn it, I missed. It'll have to loop back and I'll have to go back in that again. Oh, I've lost my shield. That's why the HUD's gone back to its regular green and isn't flashing anymore. So I'm going to be taking damage as normal from now on. Don't quite know what I'm doing for this, but hey. Oh! Yeah, missiles can do a horrific amount of damage, so you've got to watch out for them or shoot them. Again, it's putting me to external view automatically. You have to shoot these doors. Yeah, obviously, when Peppy says to fire retros, you really want to be doing that. Oh no, Sorry, I do apologise. I got something a bit wrong earlier. I said before the shield was in the bottom right corner. It's actually in the bottom left. So sorry about that. And then as soon as you're back outside, you ideally want to switch back to inner view until you get to another bit where you have to go inside. So yeah, this is Starwing, Starwing in Europe and perhaps other PAL regions, and StarFox elsewhere. Although it's now called StarFox anyway, because of it being re-released under that title when it came out on the SNES Mini, as I explained earlier. And here's the boss up. So I'll finish this boss and then wind up the review. Again, this is happening automatically. This you have to actually those arrows tell you which way those panels are gonna slide. Don't confuse it as to where you actually need to go to avoid them, because otherwise you'll smash straight into them, and that will cause a considerable amount of damage. Oh. So if they're pointing down, you need to be at the up and vice versa. Oh, took a hit there. I've roughly half my shield. I've topped it up with those. That's good. And as before, you have to shoot these doors to get them to open. It's got into automatic pilot mode for this bit. Some people complain that you couldn't actually control it doing this bit, which would have been cool, but I think that would have been a bit much for the performance of the hardware available at the time. And you have to shoot these beam projectors on the wall. Once you destroyed all them, then that core thing in the middle will open, and then you just have to destroy the core by repeatedly pummeling it with laser fire. Very nice sounds in this particular bit. Oh, I need to hit that, otherwise it'll probably just smack into me. Can I hit that with the smart bomb? No, missed it. I didn't quite time that correctly. So like I said, it can be a bit hard to know where exactly you need to hit in order. Right, got it. That is the core. Well, I didn't say that. Again, it's got into automatic mode for this little bit. Nice big explosions. So I'm going to wind up the review here. So that's Starwing, or StarFox if you're originally outside of Europe when this game first came out. And even though the graphics look dated by today's standards, it still plays like a dream, and the sound and music is still very good. So graphics, as I said, they're very dated, but for its time, they're really good. I mean, these pictures here, which obviously aren't the polygons, are really well drawn and so forth, and some good use of mode 7 to tip the background whenever you're flying forward. So. And the way they've done the polygonal graphics is pretty advanced for its time, and still manages to run at a respectable rate for the most part. As I said, it does occasionally have a dip in quality. A dip in frame rate when things get particularly busy on screen, which is an unfortunate side effect of trying to marry 3D polygons done like this on a 16-bit machine like the Super Nintendo. But it's not so bad that it becomes unplayable, and it happens so fairly rarely. It's not really worth complaining about. Sound and music are really good too. Nice blaster sound effects and explosions and that terrifying whine whenever there's a missile hurtling towards you, and you have to worry about whether or not it's going to hit you. Which brings me on to gameplay. By and large, it works really well, but it can, particularly if you're not in a space area where you can view it first person, it can be a bit hard to tell where you need to be in order to not hit anything or get hit. And that is pretty much a common problem with games like this from this particular era. And sometimes your R-wing vehicle can get in the way, so it's a bit hard to see what you're hitting. But by and large, everything about it plays really well. The controls are responsive, and everything works pretty much as expected, and it's not overly complicated despite the use of polygons. Everything works really well via the controller, and it's still an enjoyable game to play. So if you're curious to see how things actually started to become more like the kind of 3D games you know today, this is as good a place to start as any, because it still plays really well even though its visuals are dated by today's standards. So anyway, I'm going to give Starwing 9 out of 10. Hope you enjoyed this review. Catch you on another one soon. Texie88 out.